We can keep it natural. I should record what's going on. I'll jump into
Yeah, I
this,
mean,
bro, as we you know what I'm saying naturally progress. What's going on with you though, bro?
hey man, another great day to be alive.
Well, got
Shoot,
shit. You ain't lying there. Shit, more ways than one. In
hey,
more ways than one. Shit, I like to always harp on that though. When I wake up, you know what I'm saying, try to say my grace, prayers, and
mm-hmm,
whatnot, address them, and be thankful. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So,
That thankful lens is a good lens to look through. I should keep it
shit, cause what
grounded.
what else you gonna what else you gonna do? Complain about every goddamn thing?
Yeah, that shit only can last so long before
I
it's
was
like,
talking to
shoot.
my I was talking to my godmom, and she always be
Mm-hmm,
giving me like to me. You ever okay? Like to me, you ever like watch a movie? Obviously, I say movie because not my culture, but in some movies where you see the more indigenous people or tribal uh people, and they have in their tribe they have like the healer or like the person who's more spiritually connected, who keeps everyone
mm-hmm,
spiritually grounded in the tribe. You know what I'm saying? Like it's usually a woman, an elder woman, who's usually that
mm-hmm.
person. But me,
That's
sometimes that's my
needed.
that's my god mom. You know what I'm saying? So when I connect with her,
Mm-hmm.
she always be letting me know like, shit, you can be mad about anything around this motherfucker. You got whether you rich, broke, or indifferent. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to find happiness and love and peace within yourself, and be thankful that you're here because you ain't got to be.
Yep. That type of person in your life is needed, regardless if y'all don't
How
talk all the
much you
time. Yeah, but when y'all do talk, that spiritual balance is put in place in your life from the conversations that y'all have. That's always something that,
keep you grounded.
yeah, that I like to keep somebody like that around. And hey, that shit is a blessing within itself.
What's crazy is that you ain't there. Isn't that role usually a woman?
Um, I mean, I guess it's just from perception and what's being put out there, at least as far as like the movies and everything. Most of the time it is, but
Nah,
it's
not for
really
just
just
movies, nigga.
anybody.
Even in your life, has it like that individual? Isn't it for the grand majority? Hasn't it like? I
It's
mean,
been
that's
pretty.
natural because it's an animalistic. They're the nurturers of what I'm saying, or whatever. But
It's
you know what I'm saying? It's like it's not just propaganda.
it's been pretty even for me. I have both men and women that I speak to, and that provide that balance. Um,
Yeah, damn. Maybe I'm
as
just the
far as
same way.
older, um, it's more older men that I speak to that provide that balance, but the information that's given doesn't you know isn't greater because someone's a female or someone's a male.
No,
Um,
not in the sense of greater or what is better or worse. That's just I guess I was just looking at it from the perspective of um
you well, I
and
can't
even
say
in
you're running to it more with
yeah,
someone like your grandmother or or like you said, a godmother, uh, especially like so the first person that you may have like that for most people, at least for the black community, is somebody.
I
It's a
think that's
female.
that's
I
that's
can't
usually
agree
like
with
that for
that.
all people too though. The elders in your family usually are the pillars. That's really just in any
Yeah,
culture. You supposed I mean most I've never run into a culture that say, disrespect the elders. You always look to them for guidance of what, came before.
right.
So yeah, but I guess more now the black community, the youth, I can't say black community because the black community is, beyond just the youth. But
Hmm.
in a sense, the youth are kind of pushing a little bit away from that. You know what I'm saying? Trying to pave
Speak
their own way.
having, and I can't really speak on that because I'm not a
The
youth,
youth.
and
That's a fact.
all the youth that I do know, um, they are open to listening to their elders. You know,
Because you would consider yourself an elder present in their life.
Yeah, at a certain age, yeah, elder present. Not like I know everything, but I'm definitely there for advice.
That's a fact.
You know, I'm definitely there for advice and not for judgment. And I think that's the biggest thing that people look for is to be given advice and not to be judged so much. You know, because
That's a good.
it's
Should
a
should
certain
should advice come with judgment? Should advice come with judgment?
yeah.
You gotta be able to. I don't know if it's if judge people we get caught up in language.
It
We
depends on what
think
you feel.
judgment, we
Yeah,
think chastising,
right,
pointing the finger, I guess. But you gotta have some level of correction. There has to be some level of
right.
course correction or self reflection. You gotta be able to see what you did in whatever decision.
And that's where I'm looking at the judgment at because that type of guidance comes with that, but it comes in a way that's understood because that presence was already there and they've established something with you to where you could be able to comprehend and understand what they coming with and the way that they presenting it, you know. And that may not be the same with everybody else that you interact with, and you know that's what makes that relationship so special. Is because you can go there and know that you will be judged, but not judged in the sense of looking to punish, but looking to educate and looking to help. So that judgment isn't something that you stray away from, or you are scared to to be faced with. You
And
may be
but when you do that, you
embarrassed
gotta be able to
sometimes.
get out your own way. I'm sorry
Right.
to cut you off. Go ahead, my bad.
No, you good. You may be embarrassed sometimes coming to that person, whatever it is, but that's embarrassment from feeling like you may have let them down, or whatever you did is something that you know that they wouldn't necessarily approve of. But you coming to them because you know you're not finna be. They're not finna be like, "Ah, you fucked up, and why you do that? You don't make no sense." It's gonna be more so of a solution for correction
Man, we gotta bring
versus
shame back. We
yeah,
gotta
but
we gotta
it's
bring shame
it's
back. There ain't no shame and shit no more. See, it
it,
is not
it
really
ain't
the
no
fact the
shame,
word
but
shame, but it's
mhm,
like no, like I'm saying, I always use the example. Like when you was younger and you was in school, I mean, we knew who the school thought was, but you ain't really know like everybody wasn't hip. Now
mhm,
in schools, the whole everybody know who giving it up, bro. It's no there's no
and,
shame. Like they popping it so early. It's and I'm just saying that figuratively, respectfully. I'm saying like just popping they shit so early, like popping they ism or flaunting,
mhm,
flexing, and being on the forefront and jumping in shit too early and just living in it. That no, and everyone else is so to the point we don't want to say niggas. You don't want to offend nobody. You don't want to get nobody in their feelings. You don't want to hurt nobody's ego. So nobody is accountable for their actions, and we're not looking
right,
to the future for what those actions might sum up and produce in the long run.
and I think it's just balance. That's why I say that's what's happening right now. That's what's been happening. Before it was, I feel you as far as we need to get back to shame, but I feel like the reason that it's shame is at where it's at now because shame was so strong and shame was thrown on
It was
situations
oppressing
that
people.
didn't yeah that didn't
That
need
makes sense.
it,
I
they
feel you.
needed help, not
You
shame.
was you was
They
hurting
need
people.
guidance, not shame. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, that's what I mean when I say I'm using the word shame, but that's not really what I mean. I just hold yourself accountable and be able to hold people accountable. And everybody just can't get away with shit just because you don't want
Right.
to. You so sensitive in your ego that you can't even be accountable for the things that you do and say.
Because everything is always something to somebody else's fault. It's like that's something that's needed in any environment. And like I said, it was so on the tight end before, and now it's on the very loose end. Only because it's like I said, it's balance, and then it's eventually it's gonna get back to the middle, but it's gonna be a time where the cycle runs again. But right now, we on the side of where shame is something that, or even accountability, is something that is subject to the person that is being held accountable. And a lot of times it's like it's a
Niggas
lot of
use
excuses somebody
accountability
can
for
give.
views. Niggas use accountability for views. I'm just thinking about this shit right now. Like niggas will niggas will do shit, and as long as it get positive feedback, they gonna stand in it. Once it get
Hmm.
negative feedback, then it's like, okay, cool. I done pissed everybody off. It's like it's not about what's right and wrong. It's about what's public opinion. Because the
Right.
the general demographic could be wrong morally on a specific topic, and you will say that, and they'll champion you. And we not standing on moral, we just standing on popular opinion.
And
Versus when
that's
popular
how it was
opinion isn't
before.
what you're saying, whether right or wrong, what you're saying, the you'll hold accountability to appease
Hmm.
general population opinion versus standing in right or wrong. And that's not being accountable. That's just, you know,
Hmm.
using
And
it
that's
to stay in good graces or manipulating the situation.
and that's how it's been. It's like motherfuckers apologize about stuff that they actually meant, but
Do you
they
think
only
people should?
they
I don't
just
think people should apologize for shit they mean.
I don't
Don't
either.
apologize for shit you mean.
I don't either, and unless you really mean the apology. But nowadays things is so things are based off of when you're in a certain position, like you have to move a certain way. So a regular person can go by, I ain't got to apologize unless I mean it, and that may not affect your everyday life. But somebody that has is in a position to what they say matters, and it affects their everyday life, based off of if the popular opinion isn't going with what they said, and now it's affecting the business that's around them, the business that they created. Now you got to do something.
Affects
You
the
know what I'm
bottom line.
saying?
Time to go
And
PR.
it ain't it ain't always the best. It ain't always the best decision financially to double down on some shit, and that's where we at. We're not necessarily at the place to be like, well, is this really what I believe, and do I feel like I need to
There is
apologize
no
because I
value
was
system when
misunderstood?
money is more important. That's kind of where we at. I think what we summing up there is no value morale system or ethic system of ethics when the thing you praise the most is money.
That's a solid statement because I mean, hey, money make
Because in the
motherfuckers do a lot of things.
because in the pursuit of money, sometimes you have to be unethical to win.
Yeah, you don't have to be, but you present it with a choice, and that's
To
when
be
you
the
start to
to be the
question.
to get past a certain point. There is no billionaire that became a billionaire completely ethically, not
and
doing nothing shady nowhere.
and I
Because
can
if that was the
agree.
case, nonprofit owners would be billionaires. People who give back. Like if doing only the ethical and right thing was the way to win, then there would be more regular people being millionaires. Because everybody doing shit
Right,
to help people all the time or do the right thing all the time, completely ethically, and they don't win or get ahead.
right. This is like you said. The system is set up for morality. The system is set up for popularity and likability, and that's not just some popularity and likability amongst the masses, but popularity and likability amongst what you're trying to get done. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, that could be a
even just at
boardroom.
a job, yeah. Is that a regular 9 to 5? Not saying you're just gonna be doing some crazy immoral shit, or it might not be immoral, but shit that you just don't.
Agree with
You only doing it for a sole
a check.
purpose, and it's like it depending on what it is, then it's looked at. Say if you just being more talkative, because if you're not talkative, then you're not gonna get no, you're not gonna get the response that you want from your situation at the job. Now, talking more or talking less isn't something that's more or immoral. It just may be something that you don't necessarily want to do, but you do it because of the situation you're in. You know, so it's not to be looked at. Oh, I'm doing something immoral because I'm doing what works for my situation, and I'm just doing it for this situation, and I wouldn't do it outside of any other situation unless the results that I'm getting from what I'm doing would be, the same. So I think that's just adjustment and surviving. You know, now if you in a situation where you making decisions to fuck up somebody else's life, it's a little bit tougher because that can be either agreeing to a policy or agreeing to do something that you necessarily don't feel comfortable doing, but you've agreed to the position that you want to be in. So now you got to choose between doing that and still being in that position, even though it may negatively affect somebody else.
Yeah, like nigga,
And
I done been in that position. Like that, like here on, I didn't think I done said it here before. I didn't did door to door sales and shit,
mhm,
and it's been situations where I'm sitting there with either a manager or a supervisor or whatever, and we knocking on motherfuckers' doors, and he'll talk them down all the way out they at obviously we got the address, but email, socials, bank card, like we got the whole information. Right before we
mhm,
pull the trigger, the customer would be like, "Yeah, you know what? I'm good. I don't
mhm,
really need it. I'm out. It's whatever. What I'm saying? All right, cool, whatever." And we'll walk
mhm,
away from the house, walk down the little driveway onto the sidewalk, and he'll be on the iPad still. What you doing? Oh yeah, I'm still putting this through. When they get here, they can just cancel it, but I'm gonna get paid for putting it through. Oh damn. So you just gonna steal even if he said no. Like in this moment, this is an immoral thing that a supervisor is doing. He's at this point he's stealing information and doing false identity situation. He's paying for shit and ordering shit in their name when they already said no because he already has the information. So he can
right.
get paid. And in
And
that situation, it's like, what do you do? This is your supervisor. Are you finna tell on him or are you finna keep your job?
in that situation, this is what I do. I realize that ain't some shit that I'm with. So if I'm finna stay in the situation for a reason and have it be beneficial, then that's gonna be something I have to get with. If I don't want to get with that, now that's the time for me to start looking for other ways to be in a better situation. And that ain't the easiest thing, but when you early in a situation like that,
You in a
it's a little
compromising
bit
situation because you don't have no like you have nothing. They have everything, so it's kind of like
right.
it's tough, and you
But
got to
then
learn how to
it's like,
navigate shit like that. Because
yeah, but
in
then it's like
environments
in that
like that,
situation, my bad,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
In environments like that, it's about relationships in places where a lot of sales floors or commission based jobs or anything where you're using the network and having to use your voice to get your money. A lot of them times your coworkers is big on networking. I done seen people legitimately steal other people's sales, like put their name on their shit, boom, take a percentage of
Hmm.
pocket it. And it's like, damn, why you he said, "Oh yeah, I ran the numbers. Like you asked me for help. I didn't you didn't we didn't negotiate none of that." So you kind of in
Right.
there robbing people. You got to be able to kind of play the game in a sense, and that's tough to navigate when you got your livelihood in one hand and then your morals, ethics, and things you actually believe
Hmm.
in the other hand. You know what I'm saying? I got to eat, but then I want to stand on principle. And most people choose they got to eat.
And it's like, what did you do in that situation? Like early on, you
Man,
got
I'm
out of that
sitting there,
motherfucker.
bro. I'm standing in front of this nigga, and I'm really astounded. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't. I'm gonna keep it being. I didn't do shit. And I'm gonna keep it being that moment. That's like I didn't tell on this nigga because I just started
No,
this
what
motherfucking
you
job.
did
I'm
is
in 2 weeks.
what you
I
did was you got out of having to keep making that choice. You stopped
See,
working
now I
on it.
didn't participate myself. I wasn't doing shit like that because after that he'll send you off on your own and you can go. I would nah, man. But at the same time, me keeping people's secrets in a sense, made
That
people more
sits
comfortable
ways
to
on
speak.
you.
It well, yeah, but
Yeah,
it gets people more comfortable around you when you keep their secrets. You start finding
yeah.
out who in the office selling weed. You start finding out who fucking who. You start finding out, oh, this and that and the third. You start finding
Mm-hmm.
out what the owner be doing in their pastime and who they slide fucking with in the break room or the
Mm-hmm.
bathrooms or who they, you know what I'm saying? Like you start picking up because people start informing you on shit because they know you know what I'm saying? You can
You
operate
keep them.
within this environment, you know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
keep it P in a sense. So for me, I just played the, you know what I'm saying, smooth navigating through. I didn't really choose no sides and play no game. I just tried to get my money and get in and get out. And then it's crazy you do that and then your turn to get fucked over and you want a buck. So it's like that's what happened to me. At some point, motherfucker was snatching paper out of my cell. And then I
Mm-hmm.
tried to buck the system and shit, they just
Yeah,
let
and
a
but you
nigga go.
got it,
Now I'm the angry black man in the office. You know what I'm saying? For me, specific in my situation.
and you got
But I
out of
never
that
did sales.
situation.
Man, I never did sales and commission and door. I never did that shit ever again after that,
Before,
because
yeah, before
a
you
lot of the
got to a
companies are
position.
usually, huh?
Oh, I was saying that before you did that, before you got into a position to where if you made that decision, your whole livelihood depended on it. You know what I'm saying? You made that decision at a point that was early on, which is what you're supposed to do, to where it's like, well, I'm approached with this, I don't like it, so I'm looking for a way out. But while I'm here, I'm gonna acquiesce to a certain extent,
And to
but
try to
it's
chameleon
not
as much
something
as
I'm gonna.
possible, and learn from the situation as much as possible, and
Right.
always have a plan on the exit plan or the next move or the situation. Because at some point, when you operate in an environment where it's based on relationships and who you know and how cool you motherfuckers are to get ahead, at some point you're gonna have to get down and lay down. There's gonna you it's only be gonna be so long you can play the fence until it's
Hmm.
gonna be a stopping point where it's like, here is the situation where nigga you finna have to get down and lay down, get down what we in and get ahead, or you stay down there with the crabs where everybody else at, and we gonna
Hmm.
identify
And
you
you
as one or
find
the other.
another way. Right.
You
And
know, we
it's
gonna
and it's
identify
like
you as one or the other.
right. And it's not hard to be. I mean, it's hard to be in that situation when your, like I was saying, your livelihood depends on it. You was at the point where you could do that and you can make a decision. Well, this is not something I even want to build on. So I'm not even gonna build on this.
Well, yeah,
And
it's
it's
not,
it's and it's different when it's something that you build on, and now you faced with, I gotta get down and lay down. And it's like either I gotta decide I'm finna go through this storm because I ain't getting down, uh, and or either I
I mean,
gotta
you end up
get
getting down a
down with
little
the
bit,
shit.
like nigga, you know what I'm saying? You about weed from the nigga at the job or some shit like that. You
I mean, so that's what I'm saying.
that's
It's like it's certain
that's lightweight
extensive
as shit.
stuff that's not like it's. I don't want to say it's immoral, but it's like, all right, this ain't what I'm. This
Unprofessional.
is stuff that leads to doing immoral stuff, and not saying you make that choice one time, now you're sucked in. No, it's a pattern. Once you build that pattern, it's another level. Then you get to another level. Now you're in a position to where you the top salesman, and you got to do some shit, and it's not necessarily what you want to do, but you the top salesman, so you making bread, and for you
Or you
just
the
to,
top salesman and that's based off some shit that ain't got nothing to do with selling shit.
hmm,
You know what I'm
but you done
saying?
already
Or the
made the
reason
choice
why
at
you
that
in a
point.
position at the workplace is because you didn't did some shit that ain't got nothing to do with work performance. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? To where your relationship with somebody, and sometimes that's we call that nepotism. You know, just basic relationships with people, friendships. Some people get put in positions just because they know motherfuckers. But some, if you a
Mm-hmm.
stranger, you know what I'm saying? You know, I done seen little Hispanic lady show up at the job. You little young, little pretty, little, and then all of a sudden, this motherfucker been here 2 weeks, 3 weeks. How she already supervising shit? Like what the fuck?
Like on some bullshit.
On some? On some? Well, hold on. She ain't sold. I done been in the field. She ain't sold nothing to nobody. She out here chilling in the car and getting out the heat, staying off her feet. That was a bar, and and all of a sudden she's in a position where she's making more than people off her base salary, and then she's over a certain group of motherfuckers, so she gets percentages of what they selling because she's their supervisor
Hmm.
now. But she ain't really sold nothing to be in that position. It's all really pyramid schemish the way the structure is. It really is pyramid scheme the way the hiring structure and the promotion structure
Hmm.
is. But you know what I'm saying. At the same time, it's like she done what I'm saying got down for dollars. At the end of the day,
Hmm.
we already hip. We done seen how her and the old boy and upstairs be getting real cuddly, close and giggly. You know what I'm saying. So
Hmm.
when you in them type of environments, it's like it's hard to win when that's the situation at hand. So you got to be able to plot your way out. It's not no
Right.
longevity in that shit if we want to stand on principle.
Right. And this you got to navigate. And that's the thing. You got to navigate, and navigation ain't. You got to go. You got to make a choice. So it's it's not like you're gonna ever stop navigating. You got to figure out how you're gonna navigate, and it can be different in every situation, man. And just the awareness of what's going on and awareness of what your decisions mean when you make them is very valuable for yourself. uh, because it's out here. You may be doing something. It's like you feel like you got to do it, and you feel like it. It may be nothing, but for somebody that's younger, may not have ran across. Hold on, man, this motherfucker. But
Well,
yeah.
on that note, uh, hello world, boys and girls. This is me, the nigga you just met. Uh, Missia Rollo, Spacely, or forever known as Javon Rollo. I'm
Yo, yo,
accompanied
yo.
here. I'm accompanied here with my co-host, the 88 Ghost, Mr. Danny Phantom, and forever always referred to as Michael, Mr. Michael Taylor. What's going on with you?
What
And
up?
this
What up? What up?
is the Lakrum podcast.
Hey, giving somebody an AKA and them not knowing who you talking about is wild. I don't
That nigga don't
who
know who Danny Phantom is, bro.
I probably know when you tell me, but
Danny,
I didn't know that nigga name. So
Danny Phantom from it was from
which comic
Nickelodeon,
is it?
bro. He was a ghost. He was a half boy, half ghost from fucking a Nickelodeon cartoon. You ever seen
Which
Danny
one?
Phantom, nigga? The show is called Danny Phantom, nigga. His
This
name was Danny Phantom. He was like a little boy in high school or some shit. And his parents was scientists and they was trying to build machines to test other dimensions. They must have hit their son with this shit and turned him into half human, half ghost, so he can transform into a ghost when he wanted to. And he was fighting demons and ghosts to protect the earth. He was like a ghost superhero, a boofed up Casper, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Like a Superman Casper. It was cold. But that might be
I
aged
may be
out. You might
tripping.
be aged out of that shit. Yeah.
Yeah, this sound like
That was after your
I at
time.
least would
You
have
know what niggas
heard
say that was
about it.
before your time? That was after your time.
Yeah, I was like, I ain't never heard about that show on Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
Danny Phantoms. I gotta ask my niece. She might know who that is.
God damn.
I gotta look
But
that
shit,
up.
man.
Sound interesting. Was he black or white?
He was a white guy.
White kid. Yeah,
There,
sound
there,
about
there
right.
was how many black superheroes? If he was black, you would have known about him. There wasn't that many black
Yeah,
superheroes. You gotta think about it.
yeah.
You'd have been hit. You know who Static Shock is, don't it?
That's what I was about to bring up.
My point exactly.
I know
Yeah.
about Static Shock
But
for sure,
Static
for
Shock
sure.
is aged out on age is after your time too.
No, it's not.
When did Static Shock come out?
I don't know, but I was watching it
I'm
and I was
saying
of
when was
age
you?
to
I'm
it.
saying like when we went. What year was you watching Static Shock on TV? That's what I'm basically saying or
I don't
asking.
remember, but it wasn't like it was I think it may have been before high school,
Cartoons
but
was
it
different
was
in my day. Back in my
man,
day,
I was
cartoons was
because I
different.
didn't have cable, bro. So my best cartoons was either really early in the morning,
What
but
cartoons was you watching, man? Yeah, yeah. Come on, man. Let's man. What cartoons
okay.
was you watching? What
So
cartoons?
if it was during school, the school year, it was always afternoon shit.
Yeah,
Arthur, PBS 13 was going
Arthur was
crazy.
legit. Arthur was legit. I
Yeah.
fucked with Buster. Wasn't it the bully nigga? The white. He
Nah,
was.
but
Buster
Buster
was the
was the
hater.
was the best friend. Nah,
Who
Buster
was the
was the
bully? Oh, Buster was his partner. Buster was the bully, wasn't he?
no,
With the
Buster
the
was
white bear nigga.
Bust the rabbit. Buster was the cool nigga. Buster was
Oh,
the
okay.
the motherfucker that was like the friend that was probably gonna be smoking weed when he got older.
Yeah, Buster was his partner.
And then
Was the day one.
Buster Baxter, yeah. And then uh I think his name was Barney or something, but the bully name
Oh, Barney, that nigga was.
is
Man,
something like
that
that.
was an ultra hating ass nigga. Let's start
Like
there.
Mr. Ratcliffe was the ultimate hater though.
Who was that? With the teacher?
The teacher,
That nigga had the Dorito chip head. That nigga shit was. That nigga like a bitch.
boy.
What was he? He was a mouse, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a mouse. He was a mouse, hence the name Ratcliffe.
Oh, Rat Cliff. That's right. What
Uh,
else was you watching, nigga? I was watching
uh,
Ed, Ed, and Eddie.
I got
What?
into that. That was one of the back end
Yeah, you was on
cartoons
the
I
way
got on
out.
because
Ed,
it
Ed,
was
and
on
Eddie popped
cable.
up.
Right, it was on cable.
Ed, Ed, and Eddie
So
taught me how to bustle.
all I had was the Saturday morning cartoons that came on uh
You watch Blues
UPN.
Clues and shit.
Not even that. That came on UPN and WB 33. So I had Animaniacs. We had the Weekenders, Recess, uh,
Recess, man.
uh, uh, uh,
With your own
Pinky
recess.
and the Brain. Well, that was in Animaniacs. Um,
That's some wild ass cartoons.
we had Static Shock, of course. Then we had Batman. Um, and then we had the Transformers, the one with the animals in there.
I could never get into
I forgot the
Transformers,
name
bro.
of that one.
I could never get
But
into the transform. I would that Transformers cartoon shit. I ain't gonna lie, that shit looked at whack.
I
I wasn't into it. I was man, y'all gonna have to bring Michael Bay turned that shit up.
mhm. The Transformers I really got into was the animals one. I forgot the name of it, but the ones with it was Optimus Prime, but he was like a gorilla, and they had like a
Yeah,
dinosaur and the lion and all that shit. But
yeah.
I didn't really get into the like machine uh Transformers, like the ones that changed into like cars and trucks and shit.
Nah, you was on the other Jones. You was one of the ones that turns into gorillas and monkeys and
Yeah,
birds and shit. You was
yeah,
into
I
some.
was on that one.
I was watching
Uh,
Power Rangers and shit around this time. Like I was a man. Power Rangers was
Power
the shit.
Rangers.
Ninja Turtles, nigga.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be a turtle. When the live action Ninja Turtle movie came out, bro, I know I wasn't even alive when that shit came. It was like 1997 or
You
some
talking
shit.
about the one
Or not 1997. Yeah,
first one
1997. Yeah,
on
bro. That
VHS?
when
That
I
was
first
my
seen that
shit.
shit, it was so lit,
That was my shit, bro.
bro. Them niggas
Oh,
was
the
hustling.
amount of times I seen that. Yeah, the amount of times I seen that was my shit, dog. That was man. I had that motherfucker because it's like growing up when you I used to watch movies again back then. Like now it's like you watch some shit and it's like it's all right, it's cool. But I guess because there's so much other shit that you can look at too. But it was like nigga, it was a good day if nigga was watching
Man,
the Ninja Turtles movie.
man,
Like,
that shit
I
was
don't care
so
if I seen
hard.
it twelve
My
hundred
favorite
thousand
part was when
times.
them niggas was doing the nunchunk contest in the crib. Man, come on, man. Ninja Turtles is next level.
Man,
That nigga Raphael was running the streets of New York with nothing on but a trench coat as a 6'3" fucking mutant turtle, like beating up niggas in Central Park, dumping them in trash
right.
cans and shit. That shit was gangster, bro. It was crazy.
That
Nigga, and then some nigga come through with a baseball bat and give him the beats.
hmm
Give him
with
the
the hockey
work.
mask, I forgot his
Yeah,
name.
Casey Jones. Right?
Yeah,
Casey Jones
that
was
nigga Casey.
a real G. Casey Jones was
Cold
a
ass dude.
weirdo. He was a cool nigga, but he was a weirdo running around in a ski mask, beating niggas up with bats and shit, like just trying to
You
be a
had to be.
vigilante.
Because if you think about it, all these niggas was weirdos and the shit. Because them niggas was turtles.
Niggas is mutant turtle,
So that
grown
shit
ass
was
turtles. These niggas eat nothing but pizza all day.
right. But strong as hell.
That nigga just did a triple somersault backflip, then
Yeah.
landed on his sword and shit.
Off a stomach full of pepperoni and cheese and dough with some marinara sauce. Uh
I don't believe that shit. Talking about them niggas learn kung fu off just watching a nigga do poses. Man, get the fuck out of here. Realistically, niggas would have shot the shit out them turtles. I ain't gonna hold you.
man, yeah.
Realistically, the New York niggas would have upped them switches and turned them niggas to cheese. Don't do no kung fu shit. Man, it's different. Now you ain't finna, that's some 90s shit. Everybody ain't have guns in the 90s. So niggas could do kung fu shit in the streets of New York and it'd be cool. That's all you do.
It's like yeah, cause it's like niggas didn't know crazy shit like that was really going on. Not like the Ninja Turtles, but this as far as like the action in it and everything. Like nowadays, it's like it's people. I don't. It's we've seen it so much that it's like all right, like you saying, like man, it's not that realistic that these motherfuckers be getting away with that shit. The government would have been ran down on them niggas. Like, but
Oh yeah, you
it
get
was fun
older
to
and
watch.
you mature a little bit. You start looking at that shit like,
Yeah,
man,
you think like it's like
fuck
man,
out
it's
of here.
crazy, and then you realize like, oh, this the way the world set up. That wouldn't go like that in real life. Like them niggas, that would have been a news story for about at the most about a year.
What,
Government would have
some mutant turtles?
yeah, government would
Get
have
the
caught
fuck
them
out.
niggas. They would have busted up that whole little underground scene. Would have been a whole little history story.
We found
That would
mutant
have been
turtles
into that.
under the sewers. Niggas would have been
Yeah,
like, I told y'all it was alligators in the sewers.
yeah,
Niggas would have came out tripping. I told y'all it was
yeah.
alligators in the sewers.
I saw him one night. He looked at me, gave me a slice of pizza, and ran off. Like, okay, that shit would not be going on like that. Cause
Yeah, man. I ain't gonna lie, those 2000s, those Ninja Turtle movies was trash. Those Michael Bay Ninja Turtle movies, them niggas was like seven. All them niggas was like the Joker size and shit. I can't even say the nigga name.
right, it
All them
just
niggas was
look
like the Joker. Them niggas was 7 foot tall, doing Simone Biles fucking floor routines with ease. Like what the fuck? I don't believe
and
it.
then you think
Weight
about it,
and gravity gotta come into effect.
it's like they mutant turtles. So I mean, it became more realistic as far as kind of what would go down because just the fact to think that motherfuckers would let that shit go on and just be like, it's the Ninja Turtles.
Niggas would
Like,
have shot the shit out the Power Rangers.
yeah, like you ain't even a part of the government.
Them
You're not a
niggas,
part of the government,
them
and you
niggas
trying to run security.
Them
You
niggas
are
jump
a
out the
threat,
bushes doing front flips and shit, posing. Hey, huh, nigga,
man.
I got this 38 snug, nigga. This bitch don't jam. I'm finna
I'm finna let it
these
go on
color.
your
What
ass.
you colorful ass niggas jump out the bushes for, man?
Mm-hmm.
Talking about y'all
Mm-hmm.
finna stop me from stealing from the warehouse. Nigga, if y'all don't,
You better
me and all my
master,
alien goons finna.
you better master done these bullets, nigga. Don't give a fuck about y'all niggas.
It was
Powering
always
up.
a lot of ninjas back in the day, though. It was a lot of niggas was like America was really heavy on ninjas in the '90s. You got to understand,
It's
because
indestructible. Jackie Chan was that nigga.
yeah, it was
Jackie
like yeah,
Chan was
the
that
the
nigga.
the three ninjas, nigga, Karate Kid, nigga. It was a
Oh,
lot
you
of
talking
shit.
about, yeah.
Like just
I was
ninja
just thinking
shit in
about that the
general.
other day.
Like it was a
Uh
wave of ninja shit, and black people
what
was
was their
big
name,
support.
dog?
Who? The three ninjas?
The three, yeah, well, the three ninjas.
Colt.
That was
It was Colt,
Colt, Rocky,
Rocky,
and
and I forgot the other one.
damn.
Colt, Rocky. I forgot, bro. The three ninjas used to be the shit. Them
It
niggas was
probably was
trapped
something
at,
like
at
Mikey or something.
it was trapped at Stone Mountain, or where the fuck they was at the amusement park.
We used to love that shit, boy. Boy, we used to Mikey loves Emily. Nigga.
Mikey. Come on. Yeah, man.
No,
That shit
Rocky
take me back
loves
to my
Emily.
that shit take me back to my childhood, bro.
Bro. That
Well, it wasn't
and
my
it,
childhood. I have to go back and watch some of that shit. Some of that shit came out before I was born. That shit was in the '90s. Classic.
that shit
I
was
was always a movie
coming
buff.
out.
I did my
See, and
homework.
that shit was coming out when I was born. So I got to really enjoy that shit. Really enjoy that shit, boy. And see it again when the shit came out. Shit used to take about probably about 6 months before it came out on VHS after it left the movies. So
Yeah.
nigga, you said if you ain't see shit, nigga, you was waiting until you and hope they have it at Blockbuster. Cause when the shit first got there, that shit was sold out. That shit was sold out. But Peace of Nights with the homies and video games with a with some blockbuster games and a solid ass movie. Oh, that shit was lit. That shit was lit. When that man, some of the best memories from that shit. That
You know, who you telling? You know, who you telling? It was some classic moments from back then. I can't. I remember when I first nigga, I thought I was a ninja. Fuck you talking about? Nigga, you couldn't tell me I couldn't do kung fu. Fuck you mean? Nigga, I was
absolutely,
Karate Kid. Nigga,
yeah.
nigga,
I really believe the shit
I was Javon's son. Fuck you talking about? Nigga, I was
like a
Daniel's
bitch.
son. Javon's nigga. I ain't gonna lie, but I was
Yeah,
real. I was a little kid who was heavily real influenced by a lot of the shit I was watching in movies and shit. Like when Stomp the
me too.
Yard came out, nigga, you couldn't tell me I couldn't crump. Fuck you talking about? Nigga, I was finna join a dance squad and we was finna battle niggas for money. It wasn't until I got older and realized them niggas was sleeping in warehouses and was homeless. These
Like
niggas are
yeah, bro,
literally
that shit
dancing
ain't
to
yeah.
survive. I was like, oh yeah, that shit for the birds. Who
Like
finna do that?
you
Who
just
finna
got to
dance
see
to
the
eat?
dancing parts. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
just
thought the
got to see the
backflips was
dancing
cool.
part.
These niggas doing backflips for $500 to be in a music video.
It's seven of them. They playing for
Hell no.
$1,000. They done practiced 6 months for this shit.
And they splitting this shit 13 ways.
Yeah. Damn. Hold on, bro. I'm sorry. Uh, yo, it's where nigga really had to leave a voicemail.
The
Or
world
nigga.
has been shaken.
Hmm.
Well, not the world, shit. At least America has been rocked to its core with a devastating moment that could have been devastating. Thank God it wasn't. Just yesterday, well, we don't know when this coming, but President Trump, them niggas was shooting them 22s at him. President Trump might be the second coming of the second black president. He has indictments. He hanging out with New York drill rappers. He
You say
paying
that.
women off, and now he got people. He's surviving assassination attempts. He might be the second black president.
You
And
say that,
but
but Obama ain't do none of that except for
yeah, but
hang
he
out
can
with
hoop real
drill
good. But
rappers.
Obama can play basketball, so we accept him. He good, and his daddy black. So, but let me feel those who don't know. If you live under a rock and you ain't and you really not that hip, um, on what was that on July 13th in Butler, Pennsylvania, Donald Trump was holding a Trump rally. where within just probably what a few minutes of his first speech, he was talking about immigration, had a chart up on two displays, and he was pointing to one of the displays, speaking about his something about his chart on this immigration topic, and
Mhm.
people in the crowd and at the rally heard pops fire off. A few thought it was fireworks, and then after the second pop, Donald Trump reaches for his right ear, where he notices his right ear is bleeding. Immediately, he drops to the ground, and several pops fire. Immediately after, what we do discover that this is gunfire, and at some point, not at some point, almost effective immediately, the Secret Service covers Donald Trump, gets into safety. Donald Trump has one of the greatest pictures taken in American history, possibly, where he snatches his shoes and holds up the fist while being surrounded by Secret Service members. They escort him to his car, get him the fuck out of there and to the nearest hospital, while AMTs and medevacs probably help out everybody in the crowd. There was a lady who did pass away from the fire. The shot that fired past Donald Trump's ear. Someone
What was
else
it?
was
It was a
critically
male
injured. It was a male that was
that
killed,
passed away, and then
passed
two
away.
other
Yeah,
people were.
were
Yeah,
in critical condition, and they're in the hospital currently.
in
Going to get
stable
further
condition.
information on that. And yeah, so and apparently immediately during the kerfuffle of insanity, the a said shooter was and it was unalived, rest in shit. You know what I'm saying? They shot him dead
Mhm.
right on the spot, and they discovered he was shooting a 22 long rifle. Now, I don't want to. I'm not saying I'm. Excuse me when I say this. Please excuse me when I'm not alluding to anything. I'm not planning anything. You know what I'm saying? And I would never be in nothing like involved in nothing like that. But I'm just if you're going to assassinate somebody,
Mhm.
wouldn't you want to shoot something not 22?
Something that you know, once you hit your mark, it's gonna do the
That's
damage
just
that you're anticipating.
not again. This should not be happening. I'm not saying you should prepare better for assassinations. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying this guy's he's completely ridiculous. And he was about 130 yards away, which is about the size of just a little over a football field length. So at first they was saying in the news it was like 300 yards, and I'm thinking, oh, if he's shooting from 300 yards, in my mind, this motherfucker got to be like,
With a rifle.
yeah, with a rifle. If that's the case, he has military experience, or is like one of those heavy gun guys, militia guys. Could be, you know what I'm saying? Because that's not an easy shot shooting a target
Mm-mm.
from over 300 yards. That's about 3 football field lengths. That's not easy to do. Not just any Joe Schmo is just
With a
hitting that
rifle.
mark. Yeah, with a rifle. So um, when they said I thought it was like maybe someone with military experience. We might get something like a manifesto or some reasoning behind, or maybe it's a group planning situation. You never know. When they says like 130 yards, okay, more common shooters. You know what I'm saying? They did find out it was like a 22-year-old who lived in Pennsylvania, drove out there with a 22 long rifle with plans to apparently assassinate the previous president Donald Trump, and failed miserably. Sadly, did kill someone that
He
was
didn't fail
present at the
miserably.
rally though. I wouldn't say miserably, because miserably would have been just ridiculous.
Like nobody even really.
He hit him.
Yeah.
Essentially, he hit him because he shot him in his ear. He nipped his ear, and that's because Donald Trump turned his head. If you watch the video, he turned his head at like the perfect time. Like he turned his head to look at the chart, and then immediately, "Pah!" and you hear you see him reach for his ear. So just in time, he turns his head, and that bullet just missed him. And there's a still shot seen on X on Twitter or whatever, and you can there's a still shot the bullet. They frozen it where you can see you see the bullet in the wind cutting right past his head, and that shit is crazy.
Mm. Hmm. Okay. So now it's The bullshitting already started. Now it's at another level
What you mean?
because
What's the
this
bullshit?
um how it's gonna be spun or how it's gonna be presented to the public, uh how it's gonna
Some people already try to
affect
say
the
staged.
yeah, that's what I was saying. It's gonna be a lot of speculation, a lot of hearsay, a lot of people having their opinions on it, and we're not gonna know the full facts of this. Something that happened like this for a while. We already know how that shit go. So it's
Man,
gonna
I was
fuel.
actually having a I have a I have a source of not a source, not a source to nobody, but I have my someone who feeds me, topics and information and shit. And me and
Mhm,
her was having a conversation about the whole situation. She believes it's staged, and I'm saying,
mhm,
and I'm genuinely having this conversation. Like, well, you got to think to the if it's staged to the extent a person would go to prove that point or get that advantage or whatever outcome goal they're looking for. The purpose of staging a false assassination attempt or fake assassination attempt that well he actually fired a real rifle
mhm.
at the direction of the president. I mean, if you
And
stage it, why would you actually fire a rifle that said that it hit him? Like you
and
seen
that's
it
what
hit
I'm
him,
saying.
and it killed somebody else. Are you willing to sacrifice other people's lives, and then the shooter dies? So there's
But
three or
that
four people who were harmed, and two of them have passed, and well, five people that were harmed, including Donald Trump, and two of them had passed. The shooter and the lady that was or the man that was shot.
mhm.
Is that is it worth sacrificing American lives to stage an event like this and harming people and as yourself in the process?
uh, it's been done before.
Where
9/11.
you think
It's like
9/11? Now we're getting
it
into conspiracy theory.
like and there's okay. There's staged, but that doesn't mean that real consequences didn't come from it. Planned would be a better word, or um, influenced, you know, would be a better word. Because doing something where people think that it's staged or try to say that it's staged, people actually die. Um, it's and so
Sorry,
the
are
the
you trying to tell me
idea
they're not
of
really dead?
and that's what I'm saying. And right, so it's like if it's just completely staged, it's like that's a lot to stage and a lot of chaos to control.
But I mean, if one would assume that 9/11 was staged, and there are people who were
Mhm.
present who visually seen act happen in person.
Right, and that's why I say not
So
staged
if you
like
would
it
go to
didn't
that
happen.
extent to stage 9/11, you would believe a person would believe they would stage a shooting if they would
And
stage
that's why I
the
say
distraction.
stage is not a good word. Because stage would infer that the whole shit was fake. That's why I say
Yes,
motherfuckers really be dying.
I can go for influence. Of course, yeah, he influenced not that he influenced the person to shoot at him, but he influenced a different judge of opinion or ideal in someone's head to the point where it radicalized them enough to want to grab a rifle and go fire a shot at him. You know what I'm saying? But is
Mhm.
that Donald Trump's fault that someone would? I would say no, because in my sense, you should have a self. We just spoke on accountability. Uh, shit, you can disagree with somebody all day, all night on politics, but
Mhm.
or policy views or laws or whatever. But at the end of the
Mhm.
day, once you start minimizing uh, to just shooting somebody when you disagree with them, or at that point you become no different than a third world country and somewhere else in the world who obviously we know there's less not as advanced as the US in the sense of democracy, in the sense of economics or whatever the such. You don't want to minimize or fall to that state, because then we become a third world land where any political office that's being held or position that's being held, once people don't agree with them, they just drag them out into the streets and lynch the nigga. And
And that
that's not how
happens.
you solve a problem. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want to influence, even though we as a people you may disagree with Donald Trump, but it's not about who he's shooting at. It's the fact that he's shooting at a political official or and
Mhm.
a ex president at that. Nigga, that's a ex president. You know what I'm saying? He running for office, but he
Mhm.
was just the fucking president. So you can't take that lightly, really. You know what I'm saying? Like at that point, because what happens when you have someone you like in the office, or it's a black person or a black woman, or not even just a black person, just any person in general. You know what I'm saying? That you agree
Mhm.
with their politics, so you on the other side of it. And now the people that you might think are radicalized or have a difference in opinions or whatever start taking shots at your political figure and dragging them out
Mhm.
into the street. And then it's not so jovial. Like people are on Twitter cracking jokes, and obviously we cracking jokes because the nigga survived and he's gonna leave with the hospital with a fucking band-aid on his ear. He'll be all right.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, that's because the nigga moved his head just a fucking inch. That was on live TV. Like the shit was live, bro. That could have been a different scene. That shit could have looked like John Kennedy. That could have been
It
a
could.
different scene. That could have been splat. Like no, not to be graphic. You know what I'm saying? But that could have been. Today would have been a very different conversation. They still
Right.
killed him, but damn.
And like
And the shoot, I mean, killed the shooter. Like the shooter would still be, you know what I'm saying, shot, dealt with, but you would have lost Donald Trump in the process.
right. And the fact, because I haven't seen the picture or the video that you was talking about where they slowed it down or paused it or whatever and showed the bullet in the air before it hit. Like, ain't a chance like that, even if it was planned, a chance like that ain't gonna be taken. Uh, as far as if niggas is just, I want to make it look like this and let's plan it. Now, it may have been planned as far as, like I said, influenced by even other parties, and it may the motive may be something that we don't obviously that we don't know right now, and what we're being told may not be the truth. That's something that I can believe. Everything that we're being told may not be the truth. Just like with 9/11, that shit happened, but everything we told about it wasn't the truth. How it happened, why it happened, who did it, who was involved in on it, all that information that we've been given wasn't exactly the truth. And that's proof of that. So I can believe things or we're being lied to. But the fact that this event happened is just
That's
as important,
you know,
regardless of if it was planned, staged, or whatever. This
that's
event
also
happened.
that's also a little thin line if you want to not in this situation where it's an assassination, but in other situations, do you want to disclose the full truth to the American public? Because they might not
Hmm.
understand the full scope or gravity or not so gravity of the situation and
Right.
overreact or not really quite grasp it. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't
Because
know.
we
Like
couldn't
I'm not
handle
in the so
everything.
I don't know. But at the same time, it can be also it's dangerous not telling the American public things, but it's also a whole nother level of extreme and danger when you do tell the American public every single thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
You can't,
yeah,
because that
like
would
you can't
everybody isn't
you
prepared
can't tell
for
your
the truth.
kids what you got to do to pay the bills. They going you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like you can't to the people who are on the in a sense lower levels of not obviously the building blocks of America are the people, but in the sense of who's in control,
Hmm.
you can't sometimes inform. the people under your wing of all the things that has to happen for this shit to run. I can understand that concept.
Right, and it's a slippery slope with that because
Very thin line.
we like people are part of the reason why they can't do that is because the way that they've built the American perception and the way that they built the environment of which we live in, which would lead people to do certain things based off the information that they're given. So, of course, you don't want to tell somebody that's already on the edge information that you don't have to tell them that may push them over the edge if you're trying to keep control over a situation. That would just be crazy. But you would tell
That's
them
a fact.
everything that you need to keep them in control or, as much control as you can have because shit is getting out of control or it's already out of control to a certain extent. And I don't think that it's going to slow down. So it's real. It's as much as I know what may have been involved behind this, as a regular American, we would never know. I also know that I probably wouldn't want them to tell all the details behind it because that may incite some other things that would just go downhill from there. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's it's just a weird situation because people be like, we want the truth, but a lot of the truth is already in front of you, and people just choose not to believe it, or they're so lost in the shit that they got going on that they just don't believe it
What do you
because
think
it's
happens with the what do you think happens with the election now after you got like an assassination and shit?
it's gonna be up. Like it's already up.
You
Like
think
for
it
one
happens
candidate,
where like how do
they're
people view this?
telling
How do people vote? The shift. What do you think this comes next?
it just gets crazier. The decision gets harder. The process gets more interesting for people. It gets more intense. It's everything that in my opinion, that they kind of want. Just based off of what I feel like is being planned or what's being executed as a part of a plan. Um, it does everything they want it to. It just makes the election much more of a topic.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think this plays out in Trump's favor. Uh, I think you. I think though, and just speaking from a strategic angle, obviously we we're glad he didn't. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
Get his melon popped or pass away. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, here, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? Be
mhm,
joyous and grateful. Thank God. But at the end of the day, from a strategic standpoint in an election, you are able to empathize. You know what I'm saying? You victimize them versus a person who was viewed as who might have ended up being a dictator or a tyrant if he got in office. Now there are these super radical Democrats that, well, we don't know if the kid was a Democrat, whatever we find on Insta, but under the assumption people who don't agree with Trump are now taking shots at him and he's surviving it. Like, you put him in a light to where it's like you feel sorry for him or you want him to win because he's overcoming people trying to put him
well,
in jail, you know what I'm saying, and all this extraness, and now people are actually firing actual rounds at his head, you know what I'm saying? So I think that works out. Not saying I'm gonna vote for the motherfucker, but I'm saying that I
mhm.
think that does work in his benefit when it comes to the polls in the election. I think that works in his favor in certain states who are swinging. I know Pennsylvania for sure might actually land for sure in his favor.
Right, and like I say, for people that are on the line, it definitely makes a difference as far as if you was like, I don't hate the motherfucker, but I don't necessarily fuck with him like that either. assassination attempt may not
I don't want to
really
see a
change
nigga
your
head
opinion.
explode on live TV. That's just that. I don't want to see a nigga head explode on live TV. I don't want to see it.
No, well, I don't want to say nobody wants to see that, but it's getting to that. Not saying that that will happen, but it's. I mean,
That's just scary when you got what was it, Republicans or Democrats? One of them people was having was making a speech where he was like, this may end up being a red versus blue civil war, and we want to keep it no bloodshed if the Democrats, it has been Republican, if the Democrats want to allow it to be. And it's like, why would you say no bloodshed if they allow it to be in a political argument? Like, why would there be bloodshed in a verbal conversation or disagreement in the sense of paperwork or some shit like that on views and shit we voting on? Why would there be bloodshed at all?
and that's
So it's like,
because,
where is the fucking country landing? Nigga, is this gonna be a red versus blue thing going around this motherfucker?
and that it kind of goes back to what I was talking about as far as balance. It shouldn't end in that as far as the political process. That's not what the political process is for. But the environment that we in, it's heading that way because we've been put in a position just as a regular people to where we feel like we gotta do something to protect our sanity, or we gotta do something to be better off than what we are now, regardless of what side you on. So for some people, that may come to bloodshed, you know, and that's why it's scary times in the sense that for that to even be said, it's kind of already a little normalized because he ain't the only person talking like that. And for that to be said and then not to be blown up as like some real crazy shit, and he ain't the only person that's insinuated that. Uh, Donald Trump has even insinuated that, and it's it's weird because let's be for real, it, that's the next step. I mean, we ain't too far away from that, you know, because look at what's going on.
I hope not.
It's, you ain't
I
gotta
hope
hope
not.
not.
Well,
We already there
if that's the case, I
as
might
far
jump
as
ship.
being
You got a
close.
passport? I might jump ship.
Oh, nigga, I'm
I ain't
working
got
on
time.
getting
I
one.
don't know if I'm like I I fought with you, but I don't know if I'm that invested. I'm sorry. I might jump ship. I'm gonna keep a passport, keep a citizenship. You know what I'm saying? Check in, but
Hmm.
nah, I might be somewhere else where I need another citizenship.
But at the same time, if you can say that, but when it gets to that point, it's already too late. It ain't like it's
Nah,
just
I'm gonna
gonna be
see it
easy
coming. What you
for.
mean?
It's already coming. Not
I'm already. What you
necessarily
mean? I'm
civil
filling out
war.
passport applications now. What you talking about? Yeah, man, come on, man. Yeah, it's getting spooky. It's scary hours around here.
It really is. It really is, bro.
I'm not
And
gonna lie. I'm gonna be honest. I was hoping the dude wasn't black though. The
oh,
shooter.
and he wasn't.
He wasn't, but I was hoping he was.
He wasn't.
Cause if he was black, man, that should have probably man niggas would have to been all over. Everybody would have had to watch their back, man. These motherfuckers have been got extra down on your balls, down. I was gonna say down on your neck. It's crazy, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You have to be just,
If
you
he
know what I'm
was
saying.
black,
Keep it.
then the motherfuckers that really ride for Trump, which is there is
I was
motherfuckers
like,
out there
damn.
that ride for him.
I hope he not Hispanic. If he Hispanic, bro, you don't know. You know how they gonna react towards the border and all that shit.
Right.
If he was Hispanic that shot at Trump,
And that shit would may have really pushed the shit forward as far as how close we are to having some type of civil conflict, maybe not a civil war, but something to where it's, you know, it. it's gonna have to be
Man, keep that shit
uh
paperwork.
it's gonna have to be disciplined. It's already got outside the paperwork because
Well,
niggas
not
have
not
died.
well. We don't know who this. I don't know. We gotta get more information on who this guy is. This shooter, because they want to know if it's not a planned thing. Like, because everybody gonna have to be on their toes now. Biden gonna have to be on his p's and q's.
Right,
Everybody
right.
associated. Kamala Harris gonna have to be on her p's and q's and staying safe. And I'm sure they already gonna be taking precautions. Of course, the Secret Service. Them niggas is moving with. Yeah, they own that. So, my bad. This niggas outside revving their engine like they finna do a burnout middle of the street.
These
Throwing off my
niggas.
concentration. But yeah, man. Glad that well, prayers out to the what I'm saying, the people who lost loved ones, obviously the people who were injured and hurt. Hope they have a recovery. Hope they're able to heal up and get better and get home. It's sad to
Hmm.
see people lose their life over some shit like this, man. That shit sucks. Whether it was on either side, I don't really super affiliate with either side. I got views and opinions that might lend itself to either side. So I don't
Right,
like seeing people get shot and shit. But
right.
about
Yeah,
uh, so I hope everybody's all right. We gonna send our hugs and kisses and best wishes y'all way. You feel me?
yeah, yeah. Hold on, I gotta take a restroom break real quick.
Oh shit, we can close out real quick. I gotta start getting ready for the. You know what I mean?
What?
I gotta go to work.
Ah, word, word.
So
Yeah,
I'm about to
I'm gonna
jump
watch
this
that
out.
Biden address tonight too. See
Oh
how
yeah, I
that shit
seen
go.
it. He addressed them. I'm gonna call that nigga. He said if he answered the phone. Well, boys and girls, the whole
Nigga,
world, you're here checking in with the place you like to be. Lakrum, you see. It is me, the nigga
yeah,
you just met. Uh Monsieur Lakrum, Space Lee. You always know me as Javon Rollo. And I'm accompanied or was accompanied with my man, co-host, 88
yeah.
Ghost. That one nigga he don't know, Danny Phantom.
I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna find out. Next
Mr.
time I'll be
Mike
ready.
T. Mike Taylor. And
Mhm.
this has been the Lakrum Podcast.
Yes,